Good afternoon. It was reported that Egypt presented a request to the Security Council to call upon the nations of the world to declare that Israeli settlements in the West Bank are illegal. And of course, all of the members of the Security Council, except for the United States, would vote for it. And the only hope would be that the United States would veto it, as it had in other anti-Israel resolutions. Egypt was not the instigator of this suggestion. Egypt was the tool. The one who instigated this was the President of the United States, Barack Hussein Obama, as a coup de grace for his contempt for Bibi Netanyahu's intransigence. He wanted this to serve notice for the wrath that he has for Bibi, and that he would never recover from such a blow. Because you see, once the United States nations has made such a resolution, even if President Trump would say he's opposed to this, it already has passed the Security Council and becomes quote-unquote international law. What has happened behind the scenes is nothing less than a Hanukkah miracle. The last thing Donald Trump wants is for the Obama administration to frustrate his policies and him having to undo them immediately. He probably threatened the Obama administration that he would reveal that it was the Obama administration's suggestion to the Egyptians rather than something the Egyptians did on their own. It's highly unlikely that el-sisi, who needs Israel's cooperation, would at this juncture issue such a request. There is no question in my mind that el-sisi was looking for some military hardware, and Obama said, "You want the hardware? You ask for this." El-Sisi is not a friend of the PA or Hamas. Yes, he's a Muslim, but he's a pragmatist, and he knows where his bread is buttered, and he knows he needs to have Israeli cooperation. I don't believe el-Sisi wanted to do this. That's why he rescinded it as soon as Trump made his objection clear. I believe that this was from the Obama administration, and the reason why they rescinded it is because they would have had egg on their faces. The Democrats would have had egg on their faces for the next 4 years when people would find out that this was a suggestion of a Democrat president who's a lame duck in the last month of his term to try to upend the Israeli process. Peace process does not mean forcing people to accept conditions that are impossible to keep. The reason why Israel has held on to the territories are twofold. Number one, the territories are really Jewish territories. Nablus, or Shechem, is Shechem. It belongs to the Jewish people. Hebron belongs to the Jewish people. Jerusalem belongs to the Jewish people. The Arabs never had any possession of it until the Turks took over and Arabs came to work in the fields. The Arabs never had any political control. There was never a state called Palestine, never such an existence. But the land belongs to the Jews. It was promised to the Jews. It was promised to Abraham and his descendants. And so the whole process of delegitimizing the Jewish connection to the Holy Land has gone on full force with the knowledge and the blessings of this administration, by the way. It would have been very, very easy for Mr. Obama to say, hey, I'm a practicing Christian. I believe in the Bible. Bible says that this is Jewish land. Quran says it's Jewish land. Let's stop this nonsense. And let's get a peace process that's fair to everybody. Instead, he curried favor to the Arabs, criticized Bibi for being intransigent when Bibi could not do anything better. The best thing he could do is to allow them to have a political consideration, political control of their affairs without jeopardizing the security of Israel. And Obama knows it's the only solution. There is no other solution. The two-state solution is dead. As long as PA is teaching their kids to hate Jews and to kill Jews, as long as there's ISIS, as long as there's Hamas, as long as there's Hezbollah, as long as there are people who believe that territory that once belonged to Muslims has to be recaptured, as long as they believe that, there will not be any peace. And that's what you're seeing in Europe, by the way. Europe is getting a taste of what Islam is really about. It's not just about one crazy Tunisian. Islam believes that they have to take over the world. 10% of them are willing to fight for this. 90% want to live in peace, just leave me alone, let me live my life. The other 10% are crazies. They really believe in it. I say crazies doesn't mean that they're insane. They're not insane, but they're crazy. They have this fanatical belief, and they're willing to upset other people in order to attain their beliefs. They're willing to behead people. They're willing to kill themselves, kill their children, all in the name of Allah, all in the name of this false belief. It is not a belief it's not a belief of peace. It's not a religion of peace. It's a religion of war. War is this symbol. The only way for this to be changed is for there to be serious-minded scholars and believers who reject a radical Islam, radical jihad, and wish to live in peace with their neighbors. And this is possible, but only possible by reasonable people willing to sit down and accept reasonable tenets of faith. Until the Messiah will come, until there will be a king who cares for all of the world, all of God's creatures. Those who want to go ahead and take religion to an extreme will be battling against others and ultimately fomenting race wars. This is very, very tragic, but I believe we will see a war, not a race war against blacks, a war between Europeans and Muslims. It'll grow ugly, it'll be violent, because what is happening is they're trying to draw the Europeans into this kind of fight because they believe that they will win it in some place in Syria. It's lunacy, absolute lunacy. I don't know why they would want why they would believe in such a silly thing. In the meantime, a miracle has happened. Before Chanukah, God has given us a reprieve, not having to go ahead and deal with a hostile world at a time when the Muslims are killing each other, when one group of Muslims murder hundreds of thousands of other Muslims and goes unreproached. The ones that are an impediment to peace are people who are trying to live in peace themselves. The people in Israel, they're the impediments, not Assad, not the Iranians, not any of these Islamic terrorists. Those are freedom fighters. Those are jihadists. Those are shahids. We Jews, we are the devil. That's unfortunately been our role in the eyes of other people for so many years. I'm hoping this will change. Chanukah is coming. Let's light up the world. So far, there's been a miracle. Thank you, Mr. Trump, but thank you, God, for giving some people some seichel.